Welcome to the new episode of Vande Mataram, the story of India's brave hearts. Lakshmi Sehgal was born Lakshmi Swaminathan on October 24, 1914, in Madras. After high school in Madras, she studied at Madras Medical College, from where she took her MBBS in 1938. The intervening years saw Lakshmi and her family drawn into the ongoing freedom struggle. In South, campaigns for political independence were waged together with struggles for temple entry for Dalits and against child marriage and dowry. As a young doctor of 26, Lakshmi left for Singapore in 1940. 3 years later, she would meet Subhash Chandra Bose, a meeting that would change the course of her life. In Singapore, Lakshmi remembered there were a lot of nationalist Indians like K.P. Keshava Menon, S.C. Guha, N. Raghavan, and others who formed a council of action. The Japanese, however, would not give any firm commitment to the Indian National Army, nor would they say how the movement was to be expanded, how they would go into Burma, or how the fighting would take place. People naturally got fed up. Bose's arrival broke this logjam. Lakshmi, who had thus far been on the fringes of the INA, had heard that Bose was keen to draft women into the organization. She requested a meeting with him when he arrived in Singapore and emerged from a 5 hour interview with a mandate to set up a women's regiment which would be called the Rani of Jhansi Regiment. There was a tremendous response from women to join All Women Brigade. Dr. Lakshmi Swaminathan became Captain Lakshmi, a name and identity that would stay with her for life. The march to Burma began in December 1944, and by March 1945, the decision to retreat had taken by the INA leadership. Just before the entry of their armies to Imphal, Captain Lakshmi was arrested by the British Army in May 1945. She remained under house arrest in the jungles of Burma until March 1946, when she was sent to India at a time when the INA trials in Delhi were intensifying the popular hatred of colonial. Captain Lakshmi married Colonel Prem Kumar Sehgal, a leading figure of the INA, in March 1947. The couple moved from Lahore to Kanpur, where she plunged into her medical practice, working among the flood of refugees who had come from Pakistan and earning the trust and gratitude of people. Captain Lakshmi was one of the founding members of AIDWA, formed in 1981. She subsequently led many of its activities and campaigns. After the Bhopal gas tragedy in December 1984, she led a medical team into the city years later. She wrote a report on the long term effects of the gas on the pregnant women. During the anti-Sikh riots that followed Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's assassination in 1984, she was out on the streets in Kanpur confronting anti-Sikh mob and ensuring that no Sikh or Sikh establishment in the crowded area near her clinic was attacked. Captain Lakshmi was a presidential candidate for the left in 2002. Captain Lakshmi had the quality of awakening a sense of joy and possibility in all who met her. Her co-workers, activists of her organization, her patients, family and friends of her life was an inextricable part in 20th and early 21st century India of the struggle against colonial rule. The attainment of freedom and nation building over 65 tumultuous years. In this great historical transition, Captain Lakshmi always positioned herself firmly on the side of the poor and empowered. She died in the year 2012, freedom fighter, dedicated medical practitioner, and an outstanding leader of the women's movement in India, Captain Lakshmi left the country and its people a fine and enduring legacy. Thank you. Namaskar.